Do yourself a favor and don't modify your BMW performance-wise. Well, at least not to the level that I do to my cars. Big turbo setups, 1000 horsepower plus capable fuel upgrades, massive rear end conversions, you get the idea. Sure, these kind of builds are fun as hell when everything works properly, but the minute one thing doesn't work as intended, the fun stops immediately. Which with my experience happens far too often. Today, you'll see a glimpse of the real struggle.
Oh my God. In typical BMW fashion, we have two cars here with their hoods popped, and they're both giving me issues. Guys, it just never ends. It doesn't matter how much money you put into these cars and how much maintenance you do. Oh my God, it just never ends. With the E90, my prized possession, we did the motor swap. We switched everything over, we upgraded some components, and everything was running very good. Then we started tuning it up to like 30, 31 PSI, and we discovered there's a weird fueling issue. I did drive the car for 2 weeks as a daily, just to test everything out, make sure the swap was good, all the upgrades, braking the clutch, all that good stuff. Throughout the pull, the low pressure side doesn't seem too bad. Doesn't really dip super low, and it stays around 70 to 80 PSI. But then when I let off, when I'm done with the pull, the fuel pressure on the low side just tanks, like to the floor. And recently, when I go start the car, I'm experiencing slightly longer cranks than usual. Let me go ahead and read codes with MHD, which is a tuning platform that we use for these cars. And we have a load of codes.
Looking at the parameters on the MHD platform, everything seems to be okay. The low pressure side is consistent, and once the car is done with the cold start, the rail pressure goes to around 700 PSI, which is where we want it to be at. We then shut off the car to see if it would hold pressure. The ideal outcome here would be for the low side and the rail to hold pressure. And as you guys can see here, mine doesn't really hold up too well.
Why is it bleeding out so much? You went from 700 to 64. It's like you almost have no pressure in the system.
We do have an E60 535 here that's also N54 and tuned with MHD. We'll do the same test and see how the rail pressure holds up and how the low side holds up. So on the E60, we have the low pressure side at around 87, which is kind of high, but anyways, whatever. And then we have the rail pressure at around 750. We're gonna go ahead and switch off the car. So the rail pressure is going down just a little bit. I don't think as much as the E90, but take a look at the low pressure side, 84. It's actually holding pressure compared to the E90, which means there's a fuel bleed out somewhere, and I'm not entirely sure where. So let's see if we can find out. Bro, why am I the only one that gets static in here? Everything I touch, every time I hit the light switch or the door or something, it's like I'm made out of electricity. There you are.
Hello! And here we were, uninstalling the fuel system yet again.
I feel like we've done this a million times already.
Yep, this is 1,000,001 time.
We wanted to look everything over to ensure that one, that we installed everything back correctly when messing around with it recently, and two, that there were no broken or disconnected fuel lines.
Okay, so this is feed, this is return. How do I identify which one's which?
We go back to the YouTube video I made 2 years ago on that fuel system.
Goes this way, feed goes this way. You cut this like this.
Bunch of mummy dust back here.
And you put one on. That's a big one.
Giggity.
And that goes like that.
Great. We didn't even show the part where we connected the hoses. Ollie's over there blowing on a fucking line underneath the engine bay to make sure we got the right lines plugged into the right spot. No pressure. Oh shit, there's something more going on around here. Nope, let me try the other one. Nothing.
Let me disconnect this fuel pressure regulator.
Go. Oh, you motherfucker. After getting splashed with E85, we now know that the fuel lines were connected correctly. So if I had to take a guess, the issue is either coming from these 6 injectors on the port side or the 6 DI injectors. Well, let's get to the spark plugs.
We wanted to see if the plugs were wet, smelled like fuel, or black. To our surprise, the plugs were in pretty good shape. Nothing that would indicate that the injectors were leaking.
Wait till you guys see what it looks like under here.
Yeah, gotta take this off.
Oh my God.
The frustration at this point was pretty intense. We had taken a good amount of the car apart and we couldn't find the potential issue. It felt like an endless maze of guessing. A lot of the times when you experience issue with these cars, there isn't a one-size-fit-all answer. It's process of elimination. You can either get really lucky on the first initial few guesses, or you end up being stuck in an endless rabbit hole.
Peep this, guys. Didn't see this earlier. Ali just noticed it. This spark plug is cracked. Here's another interesting thing too. I originally purchased OEM Elder B58 coils, but I'm also running 2 Bosch coils. And I don't even remember putting those on. There could be an arcing issue going on here for a spark plug to be cracked like that. Like I said, guys, it never ends. All right, so a few things we're gonna do before we put everything back on. So this is my fuel pressure regulator, the aftermarket one that sits underneath the intake manifold. I went ahead and ordered a Motive Reflex 0 to 10 bar pressure sensor. Same setup we ran on the F30 and it's been absolutely flawless. And I know David, my tuner, has been telling me for over a year to get the Motive pressure sensor so I can hook up to a Motive Reflex and monitor the low pressure this way. It's a plug and play solution if you're running Motive Reflex. Just plugs right into one of these connectors here. So I gotta go look at the wire diagram just to make sure we get the right one.
After I got installing the Motive pressure sensor on Kaka car number 1, another one of my cars got jealous of all the attention the E90 was getting. Kaka car number 2, the F30 335. I decided to start smoking near the turbo on the passenger side.
We did inspect it a little bit and it looks like the valve cover is leaking, which is unfortunate because this is the second time we've done a valve cover job on this car. But I'm not entirely sure if it's just the gasket, like we didn't install it correctly, or because the turbo and the downpipe is sitting so close to this plastic valve cover. I don't know if it melted it or something. It's so hard to tell because there's not a lot of room here. So I'm gonna have to remove the turbo and take a look at it because maintenance first, guys. I wanna make sure if I'm gonna give this car away to one of you guys, it's in tip-top condition. And of course I jinxed myself. It's not simple because the hot side is fused on to the cold side, meaning I can't just remove this section. The whole turbo has to come off.
But of course I couldn't just remove a few bolts. The turbo might as well have been welded to the damn car. I legit lost track of how much time it took for us to remove it. We really didn't want to uninstall everything because the tight clearance between all the hardware. While Ali worked his magic with the turbo, I went ahead and started taking everything off in order to remove the valve cover. If you guys are not subscribed to Ali's YouTube channel, Swap Depot, go show this man some love. He's always here for me and the Vehicle Virals brand, and always clutch when it comes to my BMW builds.
So did the valve cover melt?
Yes, it did.
It warped. There it is. And that was leaking right onto the downpipe, and that's where I was getting smoke from the engine bay.
She's cooked. I mean, it's
Wouldn't be able to do like a heat rejection tape just right here? I know it looks like a mess, but...
I'm gonna just disregard what you just said.
All right, so we got a few possible solutions here for the N55. This was definitely not the plan, at least not the original plan, to run a VTT billet valve cover on the car. One, because this is meant for S55 and 55 EWG, which is slightly different. But since I got a big turbo upgrade, it probably doesn't matter. And I picked these up from AutoZone. They reflect up to 2,000 degrees Fahrenheit. We're gonna fix up some weird shit. And hopefully we don't have an issue, because the main concern here is no longer the plastic, but more so the gasket. Because the gasket on the plastic one, I guess is a little bit more exposed and it got crunchy. It definitely got baked. This one is more of a low profile fit. I don't know. We'll add some of this shit top of the exhaust manifold where the flange is at, because I think that's what caused all the warping going on. But hey, it makes it that much more appealing now for those of you guys that are entering for the giveaway whenever that's, you know, a thing. And if we can address this issue, the giveaway should be able to start sooner, because this is literally the last thing to fix that oil leak. Take it to the dyno, rip on a car. That's it. I should also say this is actually his valve cover, which he installed on his F80 M3, but he doesn't have a big turbo upgrade. It just didn't work for whatever reason.
Vacuum issues. Basically, since people don't know, I was sucking in oil through my PCV into my charge cooler. But this car doesn't have twins, unlike an S55. It doesn't have vacuum reference, because we're gonna be venting to atmosphere. So it should, in theory, not have any issues that I had and actually be more reliable.
That's the goal. I want to take a valve cover off again. Funny, I actually paid him with this to help me out with the E65 headers, and now I'm taking the payment back, I guess. And now I have to pay him out of pocket for the E65 headers. I mean, I guess I can deal with the red. The only thing that I'm worried about is I'm sure the OEM beauty cover is not gonna fit over this, which means all the shit I had tucked underneath the bed over here is gonna be exposed. So I'm gonna work a little bit harder to organize all of this stuff, or I cut the OEM valve cover.
I'm still looking for to give after this car leaves.
Who knows if this is gonna work? Just put an ice cube here in between and see if it melts. Sorry guys, we're not really filming a whole lot here, since a lot of it is just exactly pretty much how we took things off. I did order VTT for this, which is the same red, and I ordered VTT for this. So we get a little bit more red in the engine bay. I think we're ready to start it up and see how she runs with the new valve cover. All right, so things are looking pretty good for this car right here. Pretty good. Not so much for this car right here, but pretty good for this car. All right, fellas, looks like we're good to go. No engine light, no faults, no codes. I already checked with MHD. Let's go take it for a drive. Oh yeah, me like it. Oh my God. For the most part, car ran pretty clean. Probably gotta send a log over to my tuner, David, just make sure everything's okay. It is running a higher blend of ethanol right now compared to the last time we tuned it. Gotta clean up this mess and see how we can make it look pretty, since we can't use the beauty cover. Get the extra accessory stuff, and I think the next time you guys will see this car will be at the dyno, which should be the video that launches the giveaway for this car. Exciting. As far as this car right here,
but of course the car wanted to f me one more time, as the plastic part on the back of the heat shield started to melt off and release a horrible smell. Thank God for Ali though, as he had a piece of exhaust tunnel shield that we can install.
there you have it guys, new shield, we're good to go.
And finally, we were good to go back to Caca car number 1. The E90 was put back together as we continued to find out what the mystery fueling issue was. Also, because I was concerned about the cracked spark plug and a possible arcing issue, I went back to the OEM coils and installed some fresh NGK spark plugs. A fuel pressure gauge was added to the fuel rail, the motive pressure sensor was installed and plugged into the reflex box, and a check valve was added to the return fuel line. And even after that, the issue didn't seem to get better. In fact, it got worse. It legit held less pressure when shutting off the car. At this point, Ali decided to disassemble the fuel pressure regulator, clean it, and inspect it. I mean, could that have been the issue? Did the unit take a complete shit? Man, I don't know. We installed it back on, adjusted it to increase fuel pressure, and things got a little bit better. Off camera, we took the car out for a drive to do a log, and the rail pressure took a massive shit. But I kind of had an idea why it was pretty bad.
We might have loaded the wrong motive reflex map on there, which is what caused the fuel pressure to absolutely tank. So I do have Tuner Pro RT pulled up here. We have an updated map from David Shoup, my tuner. You load it up, go for another run and see if it fixes the issue, hopefully, because I'm absolutely tired of having issues with this car. I just want to have a little bit of fun. So now that we got the proper PI map. We go for another log. MHD as always. Have the login parameters right here, so we can look at the data points and see if we can fix the fuel pressure issue. All right, so we'll do a quick 4th gear log, 2500 to 4500 RPM. Give it a shot.
The log looked great, the fuel pressure was better, and even though the low side fuel pressure dropped a little when letting off the gas, it was no longer dipping down into the 40s. Maybe the drop off on let off was just the return system bleeding off the fuel and then catching back up instantly. The important thing here was that the fuel pressure was fine under wide open throttle, which was the most important thing. Modifying your BMW can sometimes be an absolute nightmare, but like I said earlier, the result afterwards is so rewarding. I've been driving the E90 for the past week or so, and it has been so much fun not having any issues with it. And then for the F30 335, that beast is ready for the dyno, which will be one of the last videos with the car before we start the giveaway where one lucky person can win it. So make sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on a chance to win this car. And if you enjoyed the video, make sure to hit the like button as it really does help at the channel. Thanks for watching. As always, till next time.